January 25th, 2013, from the stylish high-tech underground studios of Ribbit Media in Warwick, Rhode Island, this is NewsUndies. For January 25th, 2013, this is NewsUndies, all the news that shouldn't be news. I'm Paul Torville with these headlines. Carrie Diaries. I thought the Twin Towers were still there in 1985. Dreamliner 2, The Nightmare Continues. No more nude image scanners for TSA. What's the point of flying anymore? Republican dirty tricks. I don't believe it. I can't believe it. Millionaire golfer Phil Mickelson will make drastic changes over taxes. So sad. Doctors report cyanide deaths rare, except in cases of cyanide poisoning. Jumping the gun? CNN retrospective on people we lost in 2013. Too soon? Michelle Obama rolled her eyes. About John Boehner. Internet ablaze. No idea why. CNN reports Chicago warehouse fire caused by cold. Yes, the little-known fourth leg of the fire triangle. Cold. Paul Brown. Soviet Constitution? Really? Have you read the Soviet Constitution? Yeah. New study. Repeatedly hitting your head against things will hurt your head. And now it's time for a brand new segment here on NewsUndies called Your Money. As you might have guessed, it's not about tuna. It's about your money. Welcome to Your Money. Now, inflation is what happens when money loses value relative to the things money is used to buy. The prices of things go up, even though there's been no change in their intrinsic value. Some economists state that a little inflation is a good thing. These people are already wealthy and have enough money to invest in instruments that pay better than inflation. If you have $1,000 in a savings account and inflation is 3% and you're only getting 1% interest on your savings, you are not keeping up with inflation by a long shot. I'm Paul Torville, and this was Your Money. Good to know. Stick around. Coming up next, Lying Liars in Love, a lesson in scale, and Read My Lips.
For your upcoming wedding, bat mitzvah, or funeral, trust the professionals at Blah's Florist to create the perfect mood-appropriate arrangement. Your special occasion will be so much more special with a Blah's Florist arrangement. Blah's will help your memories be that much more memorable. Call or click today to order your unique and not at all sexually suggestive arrangement from Blah's Florist. Blah's, the florist you shouldn't fear.
Lance Armstrong. Describing the attack last September on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi, Libya, Senator Rand Paul, Republican from Kentucky, remarked that Secretary of State Hillary Clinton should, quote, accept the culpability for the worst tragedy since 9/11, end quote. Really? The worst? Am I the only one who remembers the earthquake and tsunami that hit Indonesia and basically the whole Indian Ocean in December 2004? As I recall, 250,000 people died in that one. Yeah. Okay, natural disaster. Not fair to compare Hillary Clinton to a magnitude 9.2 earthquake and a 100-foot-high wall of water. Let's stick to man-made disasters, okay? It took the imposing figure of CNN's bearded veteran Wolf Blitzer to induce Rand Paul to walk those comments back and admit that the wars and the intelligence failures that led up to the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq were actually more tragic. Gee, Senator Paul, that's very backed into a corner of you. A representative for the Marine Band reported that Beyonce Knowles lip-synced to a pre-recorded track at the Monday ceremonial inauguration of Barack Obama. Does this matter? Here are Pig and Sheep with their thoughts.
Absolutely. How can I trust the Obama administration if they have a fake pop star fake sing the Star Spangled Banner? I didn't even trust him anyway, and I never would, because he's a Kenyan atheist Muslim commie fascist. Why can't everybody see that? Praise Jesus! If I'm paying to see a live musical performance by a musician, I expect that musician to give me what I'm paying for. On television or in a movie, I figure all bets are off. So-called live performances on a TV show, like Solid Gold going back to at least the 1970s, used lip-syncing to playback almost exclusively. I'm not saying this makes it okay, but I think the precedent has been set, and it's time to stop recycling this nonsense every 20 minutes on every news outlet on the planet as though this is the first time this has ever happened anywhere. And besides, the inauguration itself was merely ceremonial. The president was actually legally inaugurated in the White House the day before. You could say the president lip-synced his inauguration, but don't. That would be dumb.
That's what Pig and Sheep think. What are your thoughts? Email them to ovcomments@newsundies.com. No joking around this time. Really. David Gump is CEO of a startup called Deep Space Industries. That's a mighty original name. The thinking is that there are all these new small asteroids being discovered crossing Earth's orbit, so why not mine them? Makes sense. Sort of. The company expects to have swarms of 50-pound prospector craft checking these near-Earth asteroids out by 2015, and 70-pound spacecraft flying sample return missions the next year. They expect to be productively harvesting metals in a decade. Before you know it, orbiting solar power stations and giant platforms to replace communication satellites. Okay, well, you know, I don't want to rain on anybody's parade here, but jetpacks, flying cars, people movers, we were promised this stuff back in the 60s. By now, Doctors Floyd, Chandra, and Kurnow should be back from Jupiter and free to live lives of religious fulfillment. They're not. Stay tuned. Still to come, Facebook football follies, planning for success, and I've got an island off the coast of Costa Rica.
Soot. You've been hearing a lot of not-so-nice things about soot. Mostly from tree-hugging, dirt-worshipping pansy liberals and people who think breathing is important. They will talk the ears off your head, droning on and on about wind and solar and renewable energy. What they don't tell you is that soot built America. Our modern post-industrial society owes everything to soot. If it wasn't for coal-fired power and diesel-powered transportation, America would grind to a halt. That's a fact. And as long as we have anything to say about it, and as long as there's profit to be made in government subsidies on soot, we're going to do everything we can to keep it that way. We're America's soot industry. Profitable, ugly, traditional, American.
Manatee Teo. I don't know. Anyway. And now here's Moose Weintraub with the Sports Half Minute.
Moose Weintraub Sports Half Minute. It's a whole half minute of sports. 30 seconds of sports. Moose Weintraub Sports Half Minute.
This is your Sports Half Minute. I'm Moose Weintraub. Racket Rage shows Serena to be embodiment of serenity.
Moose Weintraub Sports Half Minute.
Thanks, Moose. Always a great report from Moose. If you wanted to break into a house and steal some things, what would constitute the perfect plan? Wait on the roof of the house like a drop bear for the occupants to exit the house. Check. Make some noise to draw them out if they play video games or don't have a job. Check. Drop on the occupant when they step out to see what the noise is about. Check. Oh, and be naked. Nothing beats falling off a roof onto a guy when you're naked. Moving on. Run in the house and break the stuff you would like to steal. Check. While you're at it, poop on the floor if you can. They appreciate that. When the homeowner comes back in, run away and get shot at by his wife. Check. Hide out in the kid's bedroom, and when the homeowner shows up with a shotgun, flop around naked on the floor and masturbate. Check. Perfect plan. Oh, and if you really want to cap the whole thing off, drink the contents of the wet vac and get tased when the fuzz arrive. This is allegedly how 21-year-old Gregory Matthew Bruni spent his evening a few nights ago in North Fort Myers, Florida. So, yeah. And finally, and I do mean finally, we all saw this coming, didn't we? Would you carry a Neanderthal baby to term for science? George Church, a geneticist at Harvard, remarked in an interview with the German magazine Der Spiegel that he's getting close, creepily close, to having the technology necessary to make a clone of a Neanderthal. All he needs now, apart from the completed technology, of course, is a, quote, adventurous human woman, end quote, to act as surrogate mother to the little bundle of proto-human joy. Certainly, cloning a Neanderthal doesn't carry any of the ethical and moral baggage that cloning a human would. Certainly. Well, that's all for this edition of NewsUndies. If you see news that shouldn't be news, you can submit your story tips online at NewsUndies.com. NewsUndies is a weekly show. We'll be back on Friday, February 1st with Fresh Undies. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, ignore us on MySpace, tell your friends, and buy NewsUndies Kitsch. Thanks for watching. For all of us here at NewsUndies, until next time, I'm Paul Torville. After that, I might be waiting patiently on the roof. No, I won't be because I'm scared of heights. Actually, what I'm scared of isn't the heights. It's falling from heights. Actually, it's not falling from heights. It's the sudden stop at the end. It's really...